It's about taking action and just being in the now.
Yeah, check it out, man. This is your boy Akon, and right now you're tuned in to the Millionaire Student Show with my man, Sashin Govender.
Yo, it's Rich the Kid on the Millionaire Student Show.
Hi, I'm Ariane Celeste, and you're tuning in to the Millionaire Student Show.
What's up, y'all? Tune into the Millionaire Student Show with Andy Milanakis.
Yo, this your boy Soulja Boy, and you tune into the Millionaire Student Show with Sasha. Keep it locked right here.
We're on the Millionaire Student Show with Shalini Vadhera, and it's interesting. We're going to go into more of the midst of adversity and now living the life filled with prosperity. But before we go into that, I want to quickly introduce you to her, and then we'll go into her background in more detail. Her rise from jewelry and fashion entrepreneur, celebrity makeup artist, best-selling author of Passport to Beauty, favorite guest on Dr. Oz today, and The View, to the founder of a $21 million global cosmetics company, is nothing short of remarkable. So, Shalini, I know you've been through a lot of adversity before, the midst of prosperity, but let's go back into your background. What got you here?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I love that you're from South Africa because I'm obsessed with travel. So what really got me to this point in my life, and even starting into beauty, was just an enchantment with global beauty by visiting my grandparents in Kenya and my other grandparents in India and falling in love with the flight attendants on Singapore Airlines. I mean, to be absolutely honest, I'm still obsessed with them. But when I was 19, my father gave me a plane ticket and $2,500 and told me to start my own company and sent me to India. And I actually thought they were trying to arrange my marriage, so I cried the entire flight. But to get there, to find out that my uncles were waiting, and they're like, okay, you need to start your own business. And so my dad, being very progressive, really put me on the path of being an entrepreneur, and I've only been an entrepreneur my entire life.
Love it. Would you say, because I grew up in a family where my parents were, personally developed. I believe foundation is everything.
Yeah.
Did that actually play a huge role in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the gift my parents gave me, again, was the gift of travel and being able to really understand cultures. It didn't matter where we were in the world. My mother always made us walk into whatever house of worship there was and, pay respect. And we'd also be taught at a very young age that we needed to give back. And those two lessons have been, one, all about celebrating diversity and culture globally and using the global, I call it my GPS, my global palette system, to inspire the brands and products that I create, but also the importance of paying it forward and really helping other people rise along with you. And those two things, coming from a foundation that my parents really instilled in me, have played an enormous part in my career to where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to be able to relate to people's adversity, because there's obviously way more people in life that fail than succeed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the odds. But most importantly, when I look off camera, we chatted about a lot of your testing moments in life and your make and break. And let's go back to the adversity. Let's go back to what was a humbling moment for you? What was the moment where you realized, hey, I need to find my purpose?
Okay, well, first of all, I have had a journey. So, when you live the life of an entrepreneur, it's full of trials and tribulations. And for me, I think the biggest challenge was when I was building my first beauty company. I spent 2 years trying to raise money. I never met a woman.
How did that start?
As far as the beauty brand,
Yeah.
It started, I was, getting a degree in international business. I was fascinated with the fact that as I traveled the world, it didn't matter what countries I was in. There was this one-size-fits-all beauty brand approach, and women were buying products that still weren't matching their skin tones. And it really bothered me. I'm like, this is your home country, and you still can't find products that match your skin. So while I was in college, I started working part-time at the makeup counter. The very first makeover I ever had, I had no idea what I was doing because I wasn't a makeup artist. I just was really just wanting to be in that industry. But the next day I received a beautiful bouquet of flowers and a card that said, "Thank you so much for bringing back my wife. She has cancer and you put a smile back on her face." And as someone growing up from an Indian background, but in a blonde is very beautiful, part of the world, I knew the effects and the importance of self-esteem because I was bullied very much as a child. And so to see that beauty could give someone confidence, whether they were sick or they weren't feeling good about themselves, was something that I knew I wanted to do for the rest of my life, was to empower women that way. And so the good and bad thing about me is I'm never satisfied. So it's a great trait if you're an entrepreneur. It's a horrible trait if you're married to someone because it drives them crazy. But I just worked my way up, and then next thing I know, I got a call from The Tonight Show, and they said, hey, we heard about your stuff. Why don't you come up here? And I was working with Jay Leno, and that launched my celebrity makeup artist career.
Nice.
And because I was living in San Diego at the time, word got out, and one of the local news stations said, hey, can you come up and talk about what it's like to work with the celebrities? I was working with everyone. So I went on, and it turned into a regular television segment. And one of my mentors at the time was Tom Bergeron, who hosts Dancing with the Stars and Funniest Videos. And he said, hey, I heard you're doing television. And I'm like, oh, no, Tom, I'm really not. It's no big deal. I'm just going on and talking, for 5 minutes on this news station. And he goes, well, let me see your stuff. So the theme of my career is let me see your stuff. So I'm always showing people my stuff. And so I brought him, a copy of what I was doing, and within 3 days I had a meeting with his agent. And she's like, you're really cute. Let's get you on in a helicopter talking about traffic. And I'm like, no, I want to be a brand. And she's like, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, whatever it means, just get me to New York City. And within 2 weeks I was doing the CBS Early Show, and nobody was really talking about why Indian women had traffic stopping shiny hair, or why Chinese women never seemed to age, or why Brazilian women have these amazing bodies. And it wasn't genetics, it was all these amazing beauty secrets that had been passed down for centuries, and rituals that were being celebrated that I had learned from my travels. And also, America is the greatest melting pot in the world, and nobody was talking to the women in between Caucasian and African American. So I started to really speak to global beauty and also diversity, and it hit. And I went on to do every syndicated talk show you could imagine, got a book deal to write my book, Passport to Beauty, spent the next 2 years traveling the world. Best time of my life, really getting to meet incredible women, whether they were in Ethiopia or in Beverly Hills, to see the need to look and feel beautiful was the same. And from there, I started working with Kamora and Russell Simmons managers, and they're like, you've got to start a brand, and nobody was doing anything in global beauty. So I decided to follow my passion and my path, and that got me, onto QVC and Sephora, Victoria's Secret, Nordstrom, Dillard's, won me the Oprah Beauty Award, exited that brand, and then went on to create my women's platform, which obviously came from a life experience that you and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So let's go into that life experience,
Okay.
because your background, you always wanted to create that brand, right? And it started to transition into something that's bigger than just a brand.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's a purpose behind it, but what was your life experience like?
So going back to the adversity,
Yeah.
I had faced a lot of adversity with the first brand, being a woman founder, never meeting a woman mentor, only meeting men in the boardroom, only meeting men when it was time to fund the company. And even now, it's 2% of female-founded companies in the U.S. get funded. 1% if you're a minority. So it's really difficult. So I went through some devastating experiences with that brand. And when I had come out of it, I was really looking for myself, to be honest. And I had met a Korean master. I'd moved to Los Angeles and fallen into Korean yoga, which, being Indian, I've done yoga my whole life, but the Korean yoga was life-changing. It was tapping and brainwave meditation to mix brain fluids. And so I met this Korean master who came to visit. He blessed me. He said it was his intention and the world's intention that I was going to change the world through beauty, but I already knew that. I, at that moment in time, did not understand the depth of the blessing. Fast forward 2 years, I get a call at 4:30 in the morning saying it's urgent. My destiny's calling. I need to call immediately. And this Korean master had come from Korea to this woman's house, knocked on her door and said, I need to see Shalini because her purpose is coming at the speed of light and she needs some energy to do it. And so they asked me to come to Sedona, and on the way there was this beautiful lightning storm that I hadn't seen since my days of being in Kenya. So I was shooting it on my phone, not knowing you're not supposed to do that. My phone was plugged in the car, and the car got struck by lightning, and it conducted the charge and just ripped through the left side of my body, and it was very painful. Had the weirdest, popping and burning sensation coming out of my head. The charge and just ripped through the left side of my body, and it was very painful. Had the weirdest, popping and burning sensation coming out of my head, and my left side of my face was drooping, and I was having a lot of problems with my hands and feet. But when I did get to Sedona, the Korean master looked at me and he said, "Do you know why I called you here?" And I said, "Yes, to charge." And I started laughing, and he said, "Yes, that was for you. That was for your brain. These are the next 5 things I need you to do." And he had me hike to mountains. And the 5th thing, he said, "It's your homework. You'll know at the end of the weekend." And after going through an incredible spiritual awakening and that experience, I realized that I really had to empower women on a much deeper level. I was really upset that there weren't more women supporting women, and so I realized that I had to create a platform called Power Beauty Living, where it was all about powering up your business, your beauty, and your life, giving you the tools to thrive, have that warrior mentality, and go out there with unmatched confidence for unmatched leverage. Came home, threw a party, thinking 20 of my friends would show up. 175 women came. 8 women got jobs that night. Another 20 got new clients. And I was like, all right, if this is my purpose, I'm on it. Whoever's working with me, let's do it. Within a year, the United Nations called me, said, "We love what you're doing. We want you to come speak at on the floor of the UN and also bring these events and retreats you're doing to 350 country heads, diplomats, and CEOs." And so I launched it globally at the UN, and then, in no time, people were calling me back for beauty. And I got a call from 2 guys that were like, "We love what you do. We want 30,000 pieces of anything you can create. Terms of the deal are you have 4 weeks to deliver." And I'm like, nobody does 30,000 pieces in 4 weeks. But we did it, and we launched Passport to Beauty based on my book. And within 2 years, we placed, about 600,000 pieces on the market. And now we're on to our next brand.
Wow. So you've been through a lot.
Yeah,
which is
I
incredible.
definitely had a crazy journey.
Love that. So, women empowerment. There's a lot of women out there that either don't have the right type of mentor, or
Right.
they base their future on the odds against them.
Right.
What advice would you give to up-and-coming entrepreneurs that are female?
Well, first of all, in this day and age with social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, you have access to anyone in the world. You can talk to anyone that's a billionaire, Richard Branson, it doesn't matter. So there's no reason not to communicate with them, whether you're commenting on their posts or just flat out reaching out. We're also in the day and age of this incredible startup community globally. You're just, because of social media, you're seeing new entrepreneurs being born, on a daily basis. So there's all sorts of ways and resources out there for women now that weren't necessarily there when I started, where you can go to startup grinds, you can go to, women-based workspaces. For me, it's really about developing your community and also, finding like-minded women to support you and grow together. What I've done in LA is I've created what I call my mastermind crew, which is a group of highly successful women with no agenda except to just help each other with needs and leads, and we all rise together.
Love that. I've got a sister, she's 2 years older than me, and I've seen it, how, women are either, threatened by other women, or they just want to succeed at all costs,
Yes.
screwing up, other women over instead of seeing them elevate and rise in life. How can we get them together as one? How can we get them aligned? I know it's a very difficult task, but it's probably in your purpose and your vision in due
100%.
time. But what is some of the traits that they need to develop?
Right. So I have experienced a lot of that. It's unfortunate. It makes me sad, actually, because at the end of the day, and you're an incredible example of this, the world is an abundant place.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of businesses to create and ways to thrive and do well. And so for me, in having to experience the other side of things, it's only deepened my commitment and my, mission to make sure that we are empowering each other. And the only way that's going to change is by, 1, leading by example, 2, changing conversations at high levels with, successful women that have made it who aren't threatened, and 3, just again building communities. And what we're doing with the new brand that I was telling you about earlier is we're actually going in with an entire social purpose to empower the entire next generation of females. Because the only way that we are going to rise together is by helping each other.
Lift each other up, without a doubt. How do you use your success to guide others towards seeing the same success? Because, I personally believe, in order for someone else to succeed, you need to lift them up. They need to have that right type of mentorship. They need to have the right type of guidance. And generally, women look up to women, males look up to males. It's very rare to find a virtual mentor that's a female if you're a male. But, most people in the cosmetic world are very inspired by people like Kylie or, Oprah when it comes to giving back, blessing it forward.
Right.
But who would you, well, firstly, who mentored you?
God, it's surprising. I had a lot of men mentor me.
Wow.
The men are the ones that showed up. So
Yeah.
as much as we want to sit here and tell women we've got to band together, we also need the men that are out there supporting the women.
Yeah, and vice versa.
You need both energies,
Yes.
right? There is a yin and a yang to everything. And I'm very grateful for the male mentors that I had because they have helped me get to where I am. Now I'm in a position where, because of what I've achieved, I've met a lot of women that have the same mindset that we do need to support each other. And so I have had some phenomenal mentors. But, if you're really to drill down to just the nitty-gritty, the best mentors for me personally have been the women I've met all over the world who have been so gracious in sharing their secrets, their cultures, and everything that's inspired the brands and products that I build.
So you get on to, all these reputable shows, Dr. Oz, Fox News, the Today Show. You get on there and you're speaking to an audience who's looking at you as a virtual mentor, looking at you and saying, hey, if she can do it, so can I. That whole Me Too attitude. This is a different group. This is the millionaire student, people who look at you and say, hey, I want to become that millionaire. I want to become an entrepreneur, and I want to stay in student mode. What advice would you give, not just to women out there, but both male and female?
Yeah, we need everybody, right, at the same time. So again, for me, it's really identifying, where you want to be, and then finding people who have done what you want to do. It's really identifying, where you want to be, and then finding people who have done what you want to do. And like I said earlier, there's no reason not to reach out. There's so many resources now. I mean, especially like Los Angeles is a great example. Every single solitary day of the week here, there is some type of meetup or event
Correct.
or workshop or conference to move yourself forward in business, to meet people that are in your community that are trying to do the same thing. And if you need somebody in PR, or if you need somebody in marketing, or if you need someone in manufacturing, by going to these events and meeting people, you're only expanding your resources and your network. So, it's getting out there and networking and meeting people and really fostering those relationships so that you can grow together.
What makes your product very unique? Because,
Me.
and I love that, but, with the beauty industry, most females out there, they want to go into that. They aspire to, especially Africa is inspired by United States, first world country.
Everybody, yeah.
Same with Europe, but what makes yours unique? And if there is someone who wants to get into the beauty industry, what should they look at to make theirs unique?
Well, the way I create is I create based on my own personal needs and my community's needs. So, again, going back to the earlier part of my story when I would go and travel around the world and I'd see that there were colors missing for all skin tones. I mean, that just didn't make any sense for me. So I went and made sure, I spent 3 years literally swiping skin tones on the streets of New York City to create a range of shades that were universally appealing to all skin tones. But I like to create in different ways. I mean, the world is truly my palette. I'm obsessed with Barcelona. I was just telling you that.
Yeah.
So we created a Barcelona box, a luxury destination box and Passport to Beauty, where not only do you get all of your senses stimulated, I take you on an entire journey of Barcelona, but I went there, met the most amazing women, and I bet you don't know that they flash their face every morning. Do you know that?
No.
So they literally pop vitamins, and instead of taking them internally, they splash them on their face. So we were able to take that as inspiration to create a face flash oil with vitamins F, A, C, and E to spell out face. And then we created this beautiful whipped face and body bronzing elixir with tons of saffron because Spain is the biggest exporter of saffron. But it smells like all the fresh orange juice you can get on the corners of the street. So I literally take every sensory, stimulant that I learn on my travels, and I create products based on that. We just created a whole entire concept of vibrational beauty. I mean, you know that in certain countries, gemstones play a big part in changing your path, right? If you see an astrologer, they're like, you know, wear this ring, and you know. So we took that whole concept. It took 2 years to make this product, but we were able to create power oils with a real gemstone roller, so jade, amethyst, cat's eye, and rose quartz. And then we worked with crystal healers and Ayurvedic doctors to create the oil that powers the gemstone. So when you're applying it, you're getting the vibrational beauty of the stone. Whether it's needing to, you know, improve your mood, or you need healing, or you need emotional strength and stability, or just self-love. So I really bring the whole concept of inner beauty and outer beauty and experience to every product that I create.
Great. So I'm gonna shift out of topic. What's your favorite holiday destination, excluding Barcelona?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I should be at the Cannes Film Festival right now, which is never not fun. So I love the south of France. I love Thailand. I mean, Thailand's so amazing. It's such old world charm meets modern day glamour. I mean, I really truly love the world, and I love Buenos Aires. Have you been to Buenos Aires?
No.
Okay. So if you need to go to South America, you need to go to Buenos Aires.
Okay.
I mean, that is a city where you feel the pulse of the passion, just literally electrifying the entire city.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Shalini, thank you so much for being on the Millionaire Student Show. So this is not just for women, this is not just for men, this is for everyone that wants to be a student, wants to become a millionaire, and most importantly, stay in student mode. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And keep going, guys.
We're on the Millionaire Student Show, and today we're going through a different avenue. Normally it's health, wealth, spirituality, and relationships. Now it's all about, you know, something that's going to actually blow your mind away. I'm not going to steal any thunder away from Kate, but today we have, you know, Kate Boyer in, you know, on the Millionaire Student Show. She's a seasoned stunt performer and leading actress. Kate, I know you feature in multiple movies.